Well, it's time now for Flashback, a recap of stories that made headlines during the week. We begin on Monday with the visit of President Muhammadu Buhari to Kano State to commission some projects. Governor Abdullahi Ganduje and some senior government officials received the president at the Dala Inland Dry Port, one of the inaugurated projects.
President Muhammadu Buhari's helicopter touched down at the Dala Inland Dry Port at Zawachiki, Kumbotso local government of Kano State. The dry port is President Buhari's first point of call, marking the beginning of a one-day working visit for project commissioning. Another establishment inaugurated is the Galaxy Backbone project.
First ever data center in northern Nigeria, but it is the first ever public data center in northern Nigeria. With this capacity or with these facilities, it is the best in Nigeria, not only in the northern part of the country.
The president also inaugurated the Muhammadu Buhari Rotary Interchange Bridge, Aliko Dangote Ultra-Modern Skills Acquisition Center, and the State Ultra-Modern Cancer Treatment Center, constructed by the Ganduje government. Other projects included a federal government housing scheme at Gandun Sarki, the Kano Solar Power Grid, and Kano State Data Center at Audubabo Secretariat. President Muhammadu was later hosted to lunch at the Kano Government House. He expressed joy at the development put in place by both the federal and state governments.
Some governors have dared to invite me to go to their state. Lagos, Kogi, Kano, and before I came here, my own state, Kaduna State. And I'm very impressed with what these governors have done, with what is available to them.
The AKK project.
Governor Abdullahi Ganduje hinted that the government had worked tirelessly in ensuring the state maintained its status of a mega city through improvement of infrastructure, health, and other key sectors.
Since we came 2015 is predicated on the issue of continuity, on the issue of consolidation, on the issue of fine-tuning, and on the issue of initiation new projects, new programs, and new policies.
The delegation also paid homage to the Kano Emir's palace.
Well, on Tuesday, the Central Bank of Nigeria assured Nigerians that they will not lose their monies even after the February the 17th deadline. The CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, said this at an engagement with the Commercial Committee of the House of Representatives on the bank's cashless policy.
After last week's threat of arrest, CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele is before the lawmakers to respond to their inquiries. House Leader and Chairman of the committee, Adodogwa, kickstarts the business of the day. He seeks to know reasons behind the CBN Governor's inability to honor two earlier invitations. The House Leader also speaks to the challenges Nigerians are passing through arising from the cashless policy.
That the institution of the legislature here, in this case the House of Representatives, or by extension the National Assembly, and perhaps with the institution of the CBN, the Central Bank itself as an institution, are in every aspect of it components of the Nigerian government itself.
CBN Governor apologizes for inability to come respond to the Parliament's calls before now and restates his respect for the institution. In his presentation, Godwin Emefiele insists the policy is in the overriding interest of the nation's economy.
We are beginning to see some of the benefits. Like I said, inflation last month somewhat trended, at least it's not rising, it's not stagnating, it's somewhat moderating. And we're thinking and expecting that they will continue to moderate. Exchange rate will stay relatively stable. And what we're even hoping with this exercise, that Naira can even get stronger.
He blames deposit money banks for the scarcity of the new Naira notes and seeks the support of the anti-graft agencies to nip any form of connivance in the board. Godwin Emefiele apologizes to Nigerians for the difficulties being experienced.
You have your money that you have not been able to send into the bank. We certainly will give you the opportunity to bring them back into the CBN, redeem it. Either you pay it in your bank account or you want to do exchange, we give you. You will not lose your money.
I thank you and your team for, of course, admitting the position of the law. And that is all we expected. And at this point in time, therefore, the ball now falls on our court. We must go around on the street, especially to our constituencies at this very critical period, to let people understand that the law remains sacrosanct.
Well, still in the week under review, the Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, on Wednesday revealed that there are elements in Aso Rock working against the victory of the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. He faulted the timing of the removal of fuel subsidy and the current Naira redesign policy by the Central Bank of Nigeria, which leaves the APC vulnerable weeks before the elections. The governor believes that those working against Asiwaju were supporters of a candidate who lost during the party's presidential primary election. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu emerged the winner of the June 8th APC presidential primary, with the former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi coming second and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo third. Meanwhile, the federal government, in a swift reaction through the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is working to ensure the conduct of a free and fair election. The minister insists the president is committed to also providing a level playing field for all candidates contesting for political offices. He said the federal government isn't officially aware of anyone working against any candidate.
One thing I can assure you is that no matter who, this administration is focused and determined to ensure a free and fair election. And I think this administration and those that matter now, who was the most important person in this administration to me is Mr. President. And I think he has shown by words and by deed that he is committed to a free, fair, and credible election.
And on Thursday, the Central Bank of Nigeria directed commercial banks to begin the payment of the new Naira notes to customers over the counter. The CBN, in a statement signed by the bank's Director, Corporate Communications, Osita Nwanibo-Sobi, said the directive is part of moves to relieve the plight of Nigerians who are finding it hard to get the new notes. He said the banks are to begin the payment subject to a maximum daily payout limit of 20,000 Naira. While admitting the difficulties Nigerians are facing, the Apex Bank reassured of its commitment of making the process seamless and promised to prosecute racketeers of the new Naira notes. Now, the Supreme Court on Thursday also dismissed an appeal by the People's Democratic Party seeking to nullify the participation of former Governor Boyega Oyetola and his deputy in the Osun governorship election held last July. A 5-member panel of the Supreme Court, led by Justice Santos Nweze, held that the appeal by the PDP lacked merit and directed the PDP counsel Kehinde Ogunwumiju to withdraw it. The court held that the PDP couldn't, under the law, question the process leading to the emergence of Oyetola and Benedict Alabi as candidates of the All Progressives Congress in the election. Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja had, in a judgment last September, nullified the participation of Oyetola and Alabi in the governorship election on the grounds that their nomination forms were endorsed by an acting chairman of the APC, who was also a serving governor of Yobe State, Mai Mala Buni. Justice Nwite's judgment was set aside by the Court of Appeal in Abuja in a judgment in December. A decision by the PDP appealed to the Supreme Court. And on Friday, the governor of the central bank, Godwin Emefiele, says the Apex Bank acknowledges the pains faced by Nigerians in accessing the new Naira notes and is doing everything possible in closing the gaps in the circulation process. The governor said the Apex Bank will extend the cash swaps to microfinance banks and engage at least 30,000 super agents in rural communities as part of its measures to speed up the circulation of the new Naira notes. Mr. Emefiele said the CBN isn't considering extending the deadline for swapping the old Naira notes with the newly redesigned ones. And finally, in the week under review, the President, Muhammadu Buhari, on Friday asked Nigerians for a 7-day window to resolve the Naira scarcity that has been generating a crisis in the country. The President said this at a meeting with Progressive Governors Forum in Abuja.
These APC governors are united in their stand against the deadline for fully implementing the cash swap policy. They have brought their protest and resistance to the doorstep of President Muhammadu Buhari. Some of the governors even allege that these policies of the CBN are deliberately intended to incite citizens against the All Progressives Congress and scuttle the party's chances of winning the ballot.
That is not our request. Is for the deadline to be shifted, not only shifted, but the old currency should go along with the new currency until the old currency dies a natural death, which is possible.
Unfortunately, I don't have good news for those who feel that we should shift the deadline. My apologies.
The CBN's insistence on a deadline for the cash swap policy is causing untold hardship for millions of Nigerians. Videos of chaotic scenes in banking halls, automated teller machine stands, and other points of sale outposts have gone viral on social media, depicting the harsh reality of a policy that has now made it difficult to access cash or even swap the old ones for the new currency.
Our fear is that this situation might cause unrest in the country. We also feel it will affect the elections or even cause outright cancellation of the polls. Thankfully, the President has said he will look into it. The chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum has also further engaged the President on the matter. We look forward to a favorable outcome.
President Muhammadu Buhari has mixed feelings about this CBN cash swap deadline. He sees the long-term benefits of the policy and believes it will boost the economy. But again, he understands the corruption and greed in Nigeria's banking system are stalling the implementation of the policy. What the APC governors want is a gradual phasing out of the old Naira notes by allowing the old notes to remain legal tender till the end of the year.